Hey guys, do you think Sony has been surprised with the sales of the PlayStation Portal? And with handhelds being the new trend, Nintendo really is a trendsetter. Do you think Sony would consider pursuing the same handheld strategy you're hoping Microsoft will follow? That it seems like it'd be really difficult to have parity between a handheld and a full-blown console. With return on investment being ever more difficult for the industry, would the PSP rebirth trademark pending, be a bespoke console with its own games, or would it just have a library of PS4 and certain PS5, PS6 games? Thanks! Exclamation point. John, first of all, do you think Sony has been surprised with the sales of the PlayStation Portal? I guess the fact that it seems to have sold out everywhere would suggest they didn't make enough. Ergo,
Yeah,
yes.
considering the lack of stock and the fact that it's not very good, it is interesting to see how well it's selling. But
Indeed.
I'm actually unsure about the. I think if Sony were to pursue a new handheld system, they would have to take a solution similar to what we've been discussing, where it would have to natively play games available for another machine. I don't think Sony nor Nintendo want to go back to the split model of having to support two bespoke platforms. It's just too expensive.
Yeah.
And you're dividing up your resources. They've already kind of done that with PSVR 2, and you see how that's going, unfortunately. So if they were ever to enter the dedicated handheld space again, and I don't know if they will, maybe sometime, I suspect it would be more like what we've been talking about, where, you know,
Thing is, if Microsoft is going to do it, then the work needed to scale games across
true.
handhelds to high-end PC would be done, and therefore it would possibly make sense for there to be a PlayStation handheld. At the same time, one might argue that, they're doing a pretty good job with Steam Deck support on the PC ports. So maybe it's just a diversification that would be like one step too far. I don't know.
Yeah, that's possible. I don't know. I'm curious.
They've got some great results from their previous handhelds, though, but that did require dedicated ports, didn't it?
Yes.
So, tricky one. I guess we just don't know. I don't think they could actually just run PS4 games on it unless there was actually a design imperative to do that, which would be quite challenging to pull off. But I understand there were some rumors going around recently that said it would have 18 compute units, just like PS4, precisely for that reason. As to whether they're doing it or not, I don't know. I do think there probably has been some exploratory work done on the handheld space with PS4, simply because, well, AMD are doing it, right? They've done it, and it makes sense to sort of have a look at the work that AMD has done, since they're a close partner of Sony. What do you think about this, Alex?
I mean, I think if Microsoft were to do it, Sony, I mean, it's hard to say, like, would Sony let Microsoft have that market or something like that? Would they want to compete there for fear of being left behind? Then I would say yes, and they would come out with something if Microsoft did it first, or the other
I
way
think
around. So
the issue with this sort of, following in the footsteps of another platform holder is the fact that it takes so long to develop a piece of
yeah,
hardware, and you can't really do that
yeah.
without it being years late.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I mean, you got your Kinects after your Wii's came out, and that was kind of successful. I don't know.
I think that's actually one of the biggest surprises people that I still have from the audience, is that they think they can react to Microsoft could react to Sony immediately. They could deploy a piece of hardware within months. That's not the way it works. It takes like millions of dollars of R&D just to make a silicon chip. At this
Yeah.
point.
Or at best, they can revenant some old project that got canned, like really.
Yeah, or
like,
they can
at
adapt
best.
an existing
Yeah.
technology, right?
That is
I
like,
mean,
but that's rare. That's probably pretty rare.
At
Yeah,
least
I
a new
like that
PSP
idea, though.
with a UMD drive and an OLED screen.
Sick. Give it to me
Just
now.
let you
with a
play all your
copy
old
of-
PSP games.
I don't know how many UMD videos came out. But yeah, I would like it if it happened. I think it'd be cool. But at this point in time, I think they have other priorities I don't know. They're probably
Okay.
pretty worried about the current situation with regards to AAA and
I think if they're doing it, they're doing it now, and they wouldn't be at all cognizant of what Microsoft are doing or care even.
Mhm.
There's one thing that I've learned from several meetings with Mark Sony. You raise Microsoft, he just doesn't care. He's razor focused on his own thing. And if you think about the development timeline for any given piece of hardware, it kind of
Right.
makes sense, right? There's nothing he can do about what Microsoft are doing. You just got to focus on doing the best possible job that you're doing.